Hi. Hello. Well, I guess now it's just time to reflect back after that whole fiasco with the promposal. Um, and talk about what went down um af- afterward, or like before, leading up to it, because a lot of stuff went wrong, and anyone who's ever planned anything is very familiar with Murphy's Law, which says that anything that can go wrong will go wrong, and many things did. Um, but I do believe a couple days before, um, I went up to one of the administration at my school, Mr. Aber, and asked him to talk. I went with Sanji, and I basically wanted to talk to him about the whole proposal, making sure that he was okay with that. If there was anything I need to be aware of that we shouldn't do or could do. And so I talked with him, and he was like, one thing I couldn't do was get a class to set up. Which I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Because a lot of people would then be like, hey, if Michaela can get out of class, I can too. And so a lot of people will start missing class. A missing class time, being out in the hall, just for promposals. So I was like, alright. And so then we had to readjust all our planning to get ready for that. I still changed into my dress the time before, the class before. So I was just like, oh, I'm going to the restroom, and then I changed. So that was fine. It was funny. I even had like Mr. Chu in on it to help me, and Sanji, because both Sanji and Renee are in student council, and they just happened to have a meeting that morning. Who would have thought? To prepare for it, or like I forget what it was. Probably Powder Puff. And so I got to like arrive early, bringing like this whole trash bag full of like chains and my signs, and a whole bag of just like stuff I needed: the cubes, tape, scissors, more tape, different kinds of tape, much tape. I love tape. I don't know if I brought my paint. I don't think I did. So I snuck that in the back. I called Mr. Chu down to like help me up. I had to go around finding everyone, giving them the signs, or putting them in certain places, like inside classrooms, to make sure they had it on time. And and also putting materials everywhere. I gave Sanji some things to do. I called up a friend, Adriana, okay, to help me last minute. I think I told her about it the day before. And so Adriana's job was to set up the Michiot's classroom, because we ended up just using that, because she seems pretty fine with it. To just put up the decorations immediately after class. Sanji was in charge of her own table, setting that up, and having her sign. Then I had to run right after class and find everyone who was a sign holder and put them in the right place. And so that was all in the morning, and I told them everything that they need to know. I put signs on the back of their signs, or rather maps on the back of their signs, saying exactly where they needed to be and what direction to be facing. Because I didn't want to tell everyone too much information, because I only wanted 2 people to know the full plan. That being Sanji, since she was going to be standing behind the table the whole time, and then Aaron Mayfield, who was going to be filming the whole thing. So they both needed to know everything, just in case things went wrong, which they did. And then, so first period goes by, and I'm getting like excited and nervous, because the one thing I did not do was talk to Dr. D about holding him back. And I was not able to catch her before school started. So I had to immediately from first period run down to Dr. D's office before Renee arrived, because he had that class, that period, and talk to her. So I immediately go up and ask her, hey, are you busy during, right at the beginning of lunch? And she was like, well, I do have a class that period, so yeah. Immediately, oh my god, oh my god, all my plans were just kind of ruined, because it's like I have to, like, she has the class to be in charge of, so she can't help me. And it's like, what am I going to do? So I run back up to Mr. Geddes' class, and I tell him about this plan that just went wrong. And I still had one more science to deliver with me. Luckily, that guy I had to give it to, he passed by. And I was like, hey, here's your sign. Be ready. Just for him, he's a freshman. So I was like, wait outside your classroom. I will come get you. So he went to his class, and Mr. Geddes was like, just send him to me. Like, I'll be here in my classroom. Send him, and I'll distract him. So I was like, yes. Because I thought he had a class. Oh, he didn't have a class, but there was another class in the classroom at that time. But I was like, all right, Mr. Geddes, he told me to tell Renee that he wanted to talk to him about something. So right after second period to go up to him. So I texted him that, and he saw it, and it was all good. So then I went to my class, and I was like, Aaron, make sure Renee sees the text I'm about to text him. And then I was like, Aaron, this has been a terrible change of plan. And I told him all about it, and I was like, your new position is directly out in front of Mr. Geddes' room. So right after class, just wait there and wait for the signal. Which the signal was Sanji calling him and saying everything was good to start. So right after class, I booked it, hoping that I wouldn't run into Renee and that he wouldn't dilly-dally and he would go straight to Mr. Geddes. And so I had to, the first thing I had to get shoes to wear, because I don't know, I guess I didn't have shoes. So I ran up to meet the freshman, and I couldn't find the freshman. So I ran to Mr. Chu's room to get my shoes. Then when I came back out, I just happened to run into him. And I was like, you're sticking by me, and you're in a new position, so just stay wherever I'm going to tell you to stay. So I run, and I put him where he needs to be. Mr. Chu, luckily, his position didn't have to change, so he was just standing there, looking adorable, as always. He looked like he was at an airport with his little sign, and he looked so excited. He was like, I'm waiting for, this to start. So I told him just to stay there and that Renee would be coming from a different direction. So I got him, and I put the freshman right outside the band hall. And I was like, stay here. Then I ran and finally found Ryan Chow. He was supposed to be holding a sign. And Sanji told him the plan, not me. So I was like, there's been a change of plans. You are now going to be standing in the staircase. He's going to come down. And I told him, all you have to do is make sure he goes towards the foyer. Because that's where I'm going to be. Just lead him, point him towards the foyer. And that's it. And then after all that was done, I ran back to the foyer, and Sanji had it all set up. Except she was missing a sign, so I had to go and find it. And then I went by Miss Shearhart's room, and they were taking so much longer than I thought they would to set up. So I was like, but they had 4 people working on it, so that was fine. And then after that, I was trying to just run back and forth between the 2 tables, making sure everything was fine, and walked out. And then afterward, I gave Sandy a sign, and I go in to Miss Shearhart's room, and I'm just standing there. And a good amount of time passed by, and it's like, okay, this is going well. And then 10 minutes, and it's like, any minute now. 15 minutes, what's going on. And then, like, around that time, like, the door was, like, being jiggled around. And, Adriana was outside for some reason asking me if I was okay. And I was like, yeah. And she just closed the door. So I'm like, I don't know what that was about. I still, to this day, don't know. Then, yeah, I waited some more. And I called Sanji. I'm like, Sanji. I'm texting her. I'm like, Sanji, help him. Tell him. Just tell him the answer already. And then eventually, like, I keep texting some people. And she was like, I told him to go to the office. And I helped him. But he just refused to. And I was like, oh my god. And so when she told me that, I was like, well, I'm going to text Aaron and tell him to go to the office, or to just tell him where I am, or, like, I don't know, push him a little bit more, like, help him. And just after I send that, the door just, like, kind of opens, and I'm, like, putting my phone away. I'm like, oh no, I got my sign. And Renee finally found me. And that was the end of it, and it all worked out, and he was, like, super psyched, and I was super psyched, and that was great. It was awesome and incredibly fun. A lot of planning, a lot of work went into it, and I think great memories were made, and that was the point. It was pretty epic. Yeah, my only sorrow is that Monsieur Hart had to wait 23 minutes for me to get out of her office because she had a phone call to make. But I don't think she really minded too much. So, yeah, that was it. Alright, thank you. I love you, Renee. You're awesome. And I did it for you because you're an amazing person and you deserve it. So, prom is gonna be awesome now that all that promposal awesomeness is over. That's the next step. So, bye.